Afternoon. Good afternoon.
It's wonderful that all of you could join us on this occasion of this talk hosted by Eminence Private School Fujairah, The Child and You, Handling Emotions During the Pandemic. Parenting has always been tough, but homeschooling, working from home, and all the financial uncertainty surrounding COVID-19 has made it tougher. Lockdown restrictions, academic schedules gone awry, and above all, the miserable feeling of being socially adrift, the situation is upending the lives of children. So today, we have with us Dr. Tushar Guha, founder and chairman, Nrityanjali Group, to enlighten us on the topic and answer some of our queries. A few words about the renowned personality, Dr. Guha. He is an educationist, artist, mentor, and corporate trainer. He made history in 2000 when he became the first doctorate holder in personality development from USA. His work has been recognized and published as approved reference book by the Department of Education, Maharashtra. A trained performing artist, he and his disciples represent India across the world at cultural events, providing free personal, professional, and general counseling. Dr. Guha has been working in the field of social service along with his team and his family. He has authored a number of books and is also the founder and chairperson of Open Forums of Principals, India, a platform that is dedicated to helping school leaders deal with the various stakeholders. Dr. Guha's life and work was recently filmed by FTII alumni as a documentary called Nirjar. Joining him today is also Mr. Girish Dalvi, a trustee and faculty at Nrityanjali, who has been working with Dr. Guha for the past 22 years. Before we hear from Dr. Guha, I invite Mr. K. Harish, CEO Sadhbhavna Group, for the introductory remarks. A few words about Mr. K. Harish, a well-known educationist, passionate in institution building process and research. Mr. K. Harish has been actively involved in the setting up and running of various educational organizations, both in K-12 and higher education sectors over the last 2 decades in Kerala and Middle East. A passionate social worker, he is associated with renowned social programs like Mission Better Tomorrow. Sir.
Thank you, Asha. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure and privilege to talk to you. As we all know, we have been going through one of the toughest time of our life. Once in a century kind of a situation. Perhaps never been in human history, a pandemic of this scale ever happened. Truly global, impacting every human being on the planet. Amidst of it, when we reflect, we know that our plans are always keep going wrong. Our resources are getting exhausted. Our routines are constantly going upside down. We all are in a self-imposed cage for months. A huge sense of uncertainty is prevailing. A sense of fear is out there. All this will affect our mind, the way we think, the way we see things. Naturally, it will impact our behavior as well. Finally, as an individual, as a person, our happiness index may go down. When our happiness index go down, it reflects on our relations. It will be with our family, spouse, kids. Ultimately, the entire index of the happiness index of the family will tend to go down. How can we resist? Because this is not a usual time. We need to talk. We need to discuss. And we need to be trained and guided. That is the reason why Eminence Private School is arranging a talk series to empower the parent community of Fujairah. Today, we have one of the best trainer with us, an outstandingly, blessed human being to talk to us, Dr. Tushar Guha. I was fortunate enough to attend a few sessions of him a couple of years back. It was literally a change our mind. I'm sure all our parents will enjoy, and of course, there will be a lot of learning for all of us. And I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude as a CEO to each parent who spare their time today to be a part of this event. Thank you very much. Back
Thank
to
you
you,
so
Asha.
much, sir. Viewers, if you have any questions for Dr. Guha, please drop it in the chat box and we shall address a selected few at the end of the session, if time permits.
Uh, just a minute. Just one announcement. Please note that Dr. Guha's talk is mainly about parenting and dealing with children. So there might be some sensitive topics which he talks about, which might not be suitable for children to hear. So if you can do something about that, dear parents, that would be really great. Thank you. Yes, Asha, go ahead.
Shall I continue? So let's move on to the session. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Dr. Guha. So please. Sir, you are muted, sir. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Asha Khan, madam, for the lovely introduction. Respected Harish, sir, Sushma, ma'am, principal, ma'am, dear teachers and parents, greetings to all of you. As an educationist, throughout my life, I have been talking a lot to parents, to teachers, to principals, to students, and during pandemic, right from April last year, it was almost every day I was talking online. So I was just told that on 18th also I have a schedule. So it was okay, it was in the routine. But 3 days back, I got to know that the invitation is from Harish sir. And I was so excited. Believe me, I'd like to share with you why. Almost 6 years back, I had met him in Kochi, on certain conferences. And I know he is an educationist par excellence. He's involved with early child education, adult education, girl education, and we have a lot of similarities. Number one, both of are bald, both of us, okay, and we maintain good physique. We are speakers, we are teachers, we are educationists, and we are passionate about all this. Only thing I did not know that he's gone global. So that gave me such a joy. And then 3 days back when I spoke to him on a video chat, he told me that the topic is your child and you handling emotions during the pandemic. I said, wow, that's fantastic, because the moment we say your child, I think all of us tend to become very, very emotional. Because who loves our child more than us? Can anybody love your child more than you do? Not possible. I may say I love, but it is not possible. You will love your child the most. And then naturally, when there is emotion, there is excitement, there is love, there is anxiety. And now there is panic, there is fear, there is expectation, and everything. And Harish just now said that this pandemic brings a low feeling with us. And then everything starts going down. What is so important now? All our life is the spirit of living, and more so with the pandemic. And when this from March, the whole world was almost under lockdown, I started telling people, I said, look, I know I'm an eternal optimist. I see brightness everywhere. I even look at it, everybody will die, but after I die, I will become a ghost. I always have something more to do in the future. So I started telling people not to worry much, just maximum what is going to happen. Corona will come and go, but we will continue to live, because this may be the biggest challenge the world has faced. But we had world wars, we had Spain flu, we had famine, we had floods, we had tsunami, and we fought it out all the time. Everyone did. And now, honestly, look, it's almost a year we have fought Corona. We have done it. We have made it. We are almost at the fag end of it, right? And so it's beautiful. But yes, struggle has always been there. We have to, everybody, I think there's not a single person in the world who has succeeded without any struggle, without any pain. Pain is a part of life. I'd like to quote someone. John F. Kennedy, he was the 33rd president of United States. In 1963, he was assassinated. I was only 15 years old, and that's the year I started my institution, Nityanjali. I never knew it was going to go so big because a 15-year-old doesn't know. It was just a passion. And when he was assassinated, the journalist asked his 80-year-old mother, Mrs. Rose Kennedy, that how do you feel that your son, the most powerful man in the world, has been assassinated? And I read her comments and answer in the newspaper. And it still rings in my ears. You know what she said? Because she's a Christian, she used the word cross. She said, I believe God will not give us a cross heavier than we can bear. Either we survive or we succumb. If we survive, we become a better, broader, and more understanding person. Somehow that has remained within me. Yes, life is full of challenge. Anybody who has got cowed down is finished. So we have to be bright. I believe there are two kinds of faces. I often say this, there are two kinds of faces. One is a constipated face, and that is a loose motion face. Dr. Guha always has a loose motion face. Loose motion means one who smiles, one who is finding happiness, even in pain, even in sorrow. So, and there are people, who are constipated faces. I meet plenty of people, I wish them good morning. They said, good morning. I said, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. I said, if this is fine and thank you, what will happen when you're unwell? So we need to ooze out in the face of challenge. We are not to get cowed down. We have to fight it out. We have to move out. Look, I'm 73 years old. I'm still so spirited. And I used to come to office even in the month of April. Everybody used to say, my God, you're going to office. Of course, my office is very close to my house, to my residence. But I had to come for recordings. I had to come to, because I was under essential services. I said, so what? Corona will come all around, but never touch me. And touch it did not touch me. And I'm sure it is not going to touch us. Because we psychologists believe in positive thinking. One who thinks positive, good things happen. One who thinks negative, negative things happen. So first essential is we have to think positive. Now, because of today's topic, I'd like to talk it into three parts. One, pre-COVID, that is, what is parenting? One, the current situation during parenting during COVID, and one post-COVID. So, but because I have a short time, you see, we have a time limit, so I'll be going very, very fast. All right. So let's see. First thing that starts from parenting. In parenting, obviously, there'll be a father and there'll be a mother. And the mother and father are the husband and wife. So first thing I always ask, do we understand our spouse? Do we love our spouse? Now, again, all this love and kuchi-ku remains during the courtship years. After marriage, somewhere you find everything is thrown out of the window, right? But yet, something remains. What remains? We learn to accommodate each other. We learn to understand each other. We learn to respect each other. So the definition of love becomes mutual respect plus mutual understanding is equal to love. So in that sense, we're still in love. We may not be having kuchiku, but, right? So do we understand each other? Then, do we understand our child? Then at the same time, does our child understand us? So therefore, there has to be communication. Harish sir just said that we need to talk. And I believe for every, whether pandemic or no pandemic, we must always talk. Unfortunately, what happens, we all chat with our children till they have joined school. The moment they have joined school, the conversation changes into question and answer session. The mother will ask, what did the teacher teach you? Did you have your tiffin? Show me your notebook. What is the homework? And we have questions and the children keep on answering. And over the period, the children learn how to speak a lie. Who taught them to speak lies? We parents. None of us likes to be questioned. Please understand. Even our bosses, when they ask us, we don't like to be questioned, We like to discuss. But then that is the system. Everybody is questioning each other. Even at home, you will see. Nowadays, after a few years of marriage with the children and the parents, everybody's questioning. Wife is questioning the husband and the children. Husband is questioning the wife and the children. Children are questioning the mother and the father. Everybody is questioning everybody. Nobody is talking. I always feel there has to be chatting a lot. One needs to chat. I always believe we need to talk nonsense, because when you talk nonsense, sense comes out of it. Psychology says nobody can listen more than 5 minutes at a stretch. Now you imagine every day if I go to do that, I like to share in my house, I'm a speaker, so I'm a chatterbox. I love to talk. And my wife is like me, she talks. And I have only one daughter who is now the MD of our institution. She's also a trainer, she loves to talk. Fortunately for my son-in-law, he also loves to talk. And my granddaughter, who is 8.5, naturally it is the genetics, hereditary, she also loves to talk. When all the 5 of us are together, all the 5 of us keep on speaking at the same time. Nobody listens. But we are very happy whether you listen or not listen. I am speaking. That's very important in the house. Home should be home. Home cannot become an office. I'll come to pandemic. What has happened now today, under compulsion, home has become office also. But I'm talking about the pre. Converse. Then we should never compare our children, because no two people are alike and can ever be alike. But unfortunately, we have all grown with that. Okay, we have forever been compared with our brothers and other siblings, with our cousins, with our friends, the classmates. Why are you like this? So and so is not like this. But do you know today's children what they answer? If you say, why are you like this? We say, I am like this. What will you do? Today's children back answer. So it's very difficult. Now, just because that has happened to us, we should not be doing it. No. And I believe no person is superior or inferior to others. We happen to be senior or junior by virtue of being born early or later. Harish has said, I'm an expert in this field, but I am not superior to any of you, because I have learned over the years, when you are 73, when you are 50, you will also be as good or even better than me. So it really doesn't matter. So under no circumstances should we compare. Then we must appreciate. We must encourage. I'll tell you something. Today I'm considered a renowned orator. And when I relate that when I was in 6th standard, once in the annual day, I was asked to recite a poem of 20 lines. I recited first 6 lines, then I forgot. And I stood like this. And the teacher pushed me outside, pulled me out of the stage. And I cried a lot. Years later, when I became very, very famous, and I started realizing that, the day I was thrown out of the stage and I cried, my parents told me, why are you crying? You may not have said all the 20 lines, but the 6 lines that you have said is fantastic. We are so proud of you. Somewhere that got into me. Children always want appreciation from their parents. Whole world may appreciate, but nothing beyond parents. I'd like to share something very, very sensitive. Asha ma'am just shared a documentary film on my life has been made. In 2017, when I was just 70 years old, this documentary was released in Mumbai. And naturally, I received a lot of compliments and all that. Can you believe at the age of 70, I come back home, I go to the bedroom where my parents' photograph is there, and I tell them that I have a documentary film has been made on me. I told my father and mother. They are no longer there because I was already 70, and I was always a sick child. So nothing much was being expected of me. And I had tears rolling down that I wanted that even when I am 70, that my parents note this, they appreciate me once. So if a 70-year-old man could feel this, what happens to our children, our teenagers? Okay, our tiny tots, all of them are looking for approval from the parents. And we have to change that. We are nobody to approve our children. We are supposed to love them because we love our children. And whatever they do, I must be able to give them. Do you tell, when I say chatting, do you tell them stories? No, what are the stories? You have to talk stories about fairy tales. You have to give out a prince and queen and kings. People say that's rubbish, but that is fantasy. That's creativity. Any scientist has to be creative, has to have imaginative skill. Any artist, any cook, any fashion designer, everybody has to be creative. Give them these stories, they will imagine. Didn't all of us think, all the ladies, didn't you ever think when you were of that age, one day a prince will come on a horse and will take you away? Who took you away? I don't know. But we men also kept on thinking, one, there will be a beautiful princess who will be asleep, and I will go and change the swans of gold and silver, and she will give me a garland. Who gave me a garland is a different issue, but we dreamt. We had daydreamings. All of us imagined. Unfortunately, today's children are not imagining because you're not letting them imagine. Then tell them stories about your family, about their grandparents, about all their naughtiness that you had done. The children identify with family. They will feel proud about their family. That's very, very important. How do the child belong? I will connect it to pandemic now, how crucial it is even in general times. Okay. Then a little knowledge about mother tongue. All of us are away. We are away from our own country, own motherland. Like I am a Bengali, but I'm in Mumbai. So I can't write Bengali, but I can speak. At least that much of connectivity is necessary. I'm not saying that we have to become an expert. Somewhere link has to go. Now, don't you think it's such a pride? Kamala Harris is the vice president of USA, and we are going on saying she's from Chennai. Aren't we saying that? Somewhere the pride comes. And I think we need to acknowledge that pride. Okay. Then we must imbibe values and traditions through stories, not after the story, moral of the story. Parents should not talk about the moral of the story. Children are able to get the moral of the story. Okay. And then we need to say no. We must pamper our children, but not spoil them. So when there is something to say no, and pandemic has taught us that, we have all learned to say no. We'll come to that again a little later. And there has to be sleep time. You can sing songs with the children. And as they grow, then we have to come to the adolescence period where we need to address. Now, if we do not keep on chatting with the children right from the day one, we suddenly cannot tell the children when they're becoming an adult. What is adolescence? When a girl is becoming a woman, a boy is becoming a man, the hormonal change, hormones are changing. So we need to address the issue. Why? Because today's children have access to everything on the net. And the information they get becomes a misinformation from them because they cannot interpret it in the right manner. Who is to do it? We parents are supposed to do. We should not be feeling shy. There's nothing to feel shy about it. We need to talk about it openly with our children, but not every single day, but as and when the situation arises. Discussion should be eye, looking at the eye, very frankly. It is just because the chatting process will come there. Now I will, there are issues of single parenting and sometimes no parenting at all. I'll tell you why. Because today in the fast stage of life, both parents are working. Children are almost alone for 18 hours a day. What do I mean by 18 hours? 8 hours sleep and 10 hours alone. So 18 hours, they're alone only. So parents are there only for 6 hours. So we need to address because of the changing scenario. Now I'm coming to the COVID situation. What happened since March? What happened to each one of us? We were frightened. We are panic stricken. We were nervous. There's confusion. We have fear of the unknown. Nobody knew what is going to happen. And first few days, all of us were sad and gloomy. Then slowly we started gathering, collecting ourselves. What were the good things that happened? We were forced to get to know each other. Okay, lot of women got to know their husbands are also very good in household chores. Okay, husband themselves discovered, yeah, I can manage home. And a lot of things, we all started doing good things. We started learning tolerance. We started getting to know each other. We started connecting to our relatives over the phone or the net or the emails or whatever. So these were the good things. The discipline started setting in. But at the same time, what are the sad things? Familiarity breeds contempt. We were not used to seeing our spouse's face so long. We are not used to see the faces of our children for so long. So it was becoming tiring. How much to look at the same face every day? And not one day, not 1 week, months, and becoming a year. And we had to keep on. So there is no option, the other side. But then we got over it. We did not get tired of seeing the face of our spouse. Then we fought, we argued. And I felt this is such a blessing because we may have argued, but we have communicated all right. See, generally, I always tell husband and wife, do you argue with each other? And a lot of people say, no. I said, seriously wrong. You must argue. There must be fights between the husband and wife. That's communication. That's beautiful. Yes, there will be implications on the children. But what will the child? But then what we have to do? You have to interpret the fight, because let the child know when there are people coming together, there will be difference of opinion, because I believe as many people, there are that many opinions, and as many opinions, there are that many ways. So let there be differences. So what? Aren't we doing it at the international level? You know, all our ministers and foreign secretaries are meeting and holding discussions and dialogues. What is that? We are all differing with each other. We are trying to come down to certain solutions. At home also, let it be exactly. Let there be arguments, let there be fights, let there be differences. Then we learned sharing. Everybody started doing everything. Then we learned rationalization of cost, because number of us have lost our jobs, number of our salaries has got slashed, the business people, business stopped, so inflow had stopped or minimized. But we learned to make do with how. I was a judge for an essay competition where the children were asked to write the parents' situation during COVID. And these 8th, 9th standard girls and boys have written, my father lost the job, my mother didn't have a job. I wonder how they were managing to give us food. I had only khichdi every single day. What I realized, it may be sad, but it has been a beautiful lesson that we know to share with each other. We know to accept children grew up overnight. That's, if it is not that, it is good, but at the same time, I feel children should not grow overnight. But pandemic brought in all that, okay? But there is one opportunity. We had only TV. But the saddest part was every time we were switching on the news, only sad news was coming in, how it is increasing. And I think each one of us are getting depressed. And I know of innumerable people who after some time stopped watching news. I said, that's a beautiful thing to do. Even I had stopped watching news because we were only getting negative things. So don't go in for negative things. Then what you can do? Then I think we all became members of every Hotstar and all kinds of channels. So you could see different serials, and you know, I something by default I learned, you know, because I'm a Bengali, we started watching Bengali movies. So my granddaughter, who did not know Bengali, was not at all interested. But after a week, she started developing interest in Bengali films. So I said, good, she's learning something of the mother tongue, right? Whatever little. So these are the positive sides. So this was a wonderful way to connect. Then we had this togetherness. Then the new norm that came in is online classes and the tutorials online. Initially, there was so much of chaos. All teachers did not know this, but they were not savvy. It took a month or two for the teachers to get equipped. Because I'm in the teaching fraternity for so long, I know teachers would be awake till 2 o'clock in the morning preparing their lessons because they were not savvy. And next morning again at 8:30, they were going to teach. And you know, now in Mumbai, the final exams have started online. And yesterday, I happened to be, when my granddaughter, she was, today the exam started, I found her teacher online, said, good night, goodbye children. I taught you for last 11 months, but I never met you. I never saw you. And I'm feeling very sad. And the teacher was very emotional. And to my surprise, all the children were emotional. They were saying, teacher, we miss you too. We love you too. And number of them had tears. So without online also, without physical also, connectivity can be made, and the teachers made it. Salute to the teachers. Our teachers are so beautiful, so good. They slogged and slogged. Nobody realized they slogged for 16 hours a day. Today they have become very savvy. I'll come down to the post-COVID also, the danger of this also. But that is the kind of bonding that we had. A lot of people were having difficulty net connections, and the camera would not get switched on. But the funny part also, the children were not wearing their uniforms. They would only put on the shirt and come and sit in front of the camera. Teachers were also not be fully attired, would just have a chunni or something like that, or a coat on top, bottom, I do not know what they were wearing, but everybody managed everything. These were the hilarious things that I used to think, and I used to laugh at within me. I said, what a beautiful scenario that we are all having. Okay. During this time, what is it that we parents need to do for COVID? that we have to make timetables. We have to think specifically for 9th and 10th standard students. Parents need to now think about their career options. So you need to approach professional career guidance people, how we can have that done. Okay. Now, I have thought of something very interesting I prepared for you specifically, because now COVID is not likely to go away in at least another 3-4 months. It's going to reduce, but so I actually thought I had given this kind of, I had prepared a timetable right from junior KG till 4th standard, one kind of timetable, 5th, 6th, 7th standard, another kind of timetable, 8th, 9th to 12th standard, another kind of timetable. I'll just go through it little fast. Okay, how 24 hours parents can keep the children busy. So I said sleep for up to 4th standard, 10 to 12 hours sleep, and 5th, 6th, 7th up to 8 hours sleep, and 8 to 12 standard student 7 to 8 hours sleep. Now, if you jot down, you will find that 24 hours will come. Then online school classes up to 4th standard, it is 4 hours. Up to 7th standard, it is 5 hours. Up to 8 to 12 standard, it is 5 hours. Then online tutorial classes up to 4th standard, no tutorial classes, but up to 7th standard, 3 hours, and up to 12th standard, again 5 hours. Homework and studies, 1 hour up to 4th standard, 3 hours up to 7th standard, 3 hours up to 12th standard. Then I had kept a slot for yoga and meditation, 30 minutes for up to 4th, up to 7th, 15, and up to 12th, again 10 minutes, but these are flexible time, not necessarily to be done every day. Meal time for 4th, 1 hour, for up to 7, 45 minutes, and 8 to 12, 30 minutes. Bath, 1 hour for the 4th standard, because they like to make it a swimming pool, and children like to put the bucket on their head. Up to 4th standard, all these kind of things happen. So give them 1 hour, 45 minutes up to 7th standard, and 30 minutes up to 12th standard. TV time for 4th standard, 1.5 hours, and up to 7th also 1.5 hours, and 8 to 12, 1 hour, but these are again flexible timings. Chatting with school friends, society friends, and all flexible. Junior up to 4th is 1 hour, 5th to 7th is 30 minutes, 8th to 12th is 30 minutes. Fights and discussions, among whom? Among the siblings or with parents. I have provided time for that. That is all flexible. For juniors, it is 1 hour. Household chores 30 minutes, and games indoor 1 hour. But for all this clubbing together, that is fight, household chores, and games, for 5th to 7th is 1 hour, 8th to 12th is 1 hour. This is flexible time. Then I have even buffer time, procrastination. Up to 4th standard, 1.5 hours. Karunga, I will see, okay, getting up, but okay. Then 30 minutes for 5th to 7th, and 8th to 12th, in another 30 minutes. If you total that, you will find each one is having 24 hours covered. Okay. And if you follow that, they have sufficient freedom, mind you. I've given freedom for procrastination, I've freedom for fighting, I've given freedom in the toilet, I've given freedom to sleep, I've given freedom to TV, I've given freedom for chatting. But we parents need to occupy them like this. But what happens with parents, we lose patience. We start screaming and shouting, you're only doing this, you're not doing anything else. Let's talk to our children with reasons. They listen. This is my personal experience. I have only one daughter. Of course, she is now 44 years old. With her, I did always logic. Everything worked out. Now with my granddaughter, we are doing everything with logic. Everything is working out. Okay. Now I'll come down to post-COVID. Okay. What is going to happen in post-COVID? Now we had something called old norm. Now we have the new norm, and now we are going to have the future norm. As I said, a difficult thing that is going to happen is everybody got used to everything online. And to get converted back to physical is not going to be easy task, because all of our mental thinking will have to change. The teachers, with due respect to all the teachers, now we all got very used to teaching online. Possibly we don't have to correct papers. Okay, automatically the answers come there. It's so easy. But back to school again, we have to do that. Children, they had a lot of free time. Okay, now. But post, again, they have to travel by bus. They have to go to school. They have to follow into the school discipline. Having all these, first of all, it was very difficult to undo the old and get into the new. Now again, undo the new. Again, that is called unlearn and learn. This is a constant challenge that is going to remain with us in COVID, post-COVID. Then a very important thing post-COVID is we need to be disciplined. Continue with washing of the hands. Continue with the mask. Continue with the social distancing. I'm not talking about too much of social distancing, but we have to practice certain norms that we have learned the hard way. Most important thing we have learned is economics. We have learned to do away with excess. All of us have learned across the globe. There is no question of rich and poor. Even the rich people have also started cutting down. Everybody's cutting down. Rationalization. I think this is the biggest gift of COVID. And I feel, I don't do a lot of puja part and all that stuff, but I believe in God a lot, God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in Allah, I believe in Krishna and Rama, I believe in the superpower. And I believe this, this nature teaches us a lot of things because we wouldn't learn otherwise. Now we have been compelled to learn. And since we have been able to discipline ourselves mentally, physically, and because we have all started taking care of our health, honestly speaking, before COVID, most of us started neglecting our health. Today, all of us have become conscious. Look at the plus points. We have started looking after our physical health, mental health, emotional health, and the family life started becoming beautiful. We started understanding each other more. The youngsters started respecting and understanding the elders. Elders started understanding the youngsters. And together, we have learned to live. This is both in the personal and social relationship. Even in the office, the whole thing has changed. There is so much of understanding because fortunately for me, our corporate trainings are still going on online. And what we find, the feedback that comes from each one is they're saying they're sad in the initial, but by the time we end the corporate training, they're jubilant. That is because they're looking at hopes. So what we have learned to become positive, we have learned, Joel, the 3 Ps. You know what are the 3 Ps? Pain, participate, and power. I believe pain must happen to us. And then we must face the pain. And then we become powerful. I believe those who get kicks, all the 3 Ps, like I used to be a very sick child, so I got a lot of pain right from childhood. Okay. And I faced all. And then finally, we conquer pain. We evolve. We become a fighter. And that's what we have all been doing. A very important thing to parents specifically. When we are into education, naturally, there is a difference between education and literacy. All those who are literate, who know to read and write, are not necessarily educated. And I know plenty of people who do not know to read and write are educated. Education means widening of my horizon. Education means adaptability to change. Mold myself with the requirement, but not losing my traditions, not losing my values. We are into globalization today. Culture of no country is bad, but I have to adapt it as per the need. Am I equipped? So we need to equip our children for this. To do that, we have to get ourselves equipped in the first place. A very important thing for all of us, we must trust the school. Please, I am invited by Harish sir. I'd like to share, I go to every school across the globe for any, now it is online, but otherwise also I used to go to any educational institution, but only where there's joy, where I find the host of such schools and my philosophy matches. There, of course, the excitement is more. Where it does not match 100%, still, as I said, we have always to accommodate each other, that I do. But in this particular case, Harish sir, thank you so much, because I know for years, you and I can see Sushma ma'am I had been interacting with you people, 6 years back. I still remember those days. It was so nice because we believed in those values. And therefore, the parents must trust the school. You must trust the school and the principal, because our children are, my child is mine in my house. But the moment my child has gone to the school, it is our child. It's no longer my child or your child. It is our child. When each child does good, all the children do good. Who are proud? First the parents and then the school. We both, no school can function if parents and school authorities do not join hands. Because it is only then the child will have a sense of belonging. Otherwise, child will be in the divide and rule policy to keep mommy, daddy happy or to keep the teacher happy. We cannot put our children into dilemma. We have to give it to them that the teacher and parents are one. We are all together. And because our ultimate goal is educate our child. What is it that we want in our children? We want our children to be very happy. And when they grow up, they earn good money. But at the same time, they earn good money with a happy job, not with a sad job where they're frustrated and yet earning money. Nobody wants that. But unfortunately, we really don't get all the jobs that we require, but we need to start loving. We should to start loving the job that we keep on getting. Okay. Now, in this scenario, all of us, that we need to have, if any issue I have as a parent, I need to come and tell the teacher or the higher authorities. Let them know. And when we share, everybody has difficulty. There is, whenever we do business, there's a client and there's a supplier and there's a production unit. So everybody has issues. So collectively we come together, and education is very, very sensitive. We are making our children, I'd like to tell the parents, when your children are going to take up a career, please let us not thrust our dreams on them. Let us understand, is my child equipped to do what I'm wanting to do? In career guidance, I always believe that whenever you have an aptitude test, back it up with EQ test, that is SISV test. It is called skills, interest, style, and value test, plus a personality test. And then have the meeting with the teacher or the counselor, along with the parents and the child, because let each one feel free to talk. If my child cannot tell me what he or she wants, then I think I failed as a father, right? If my child feels frightened of me, I have to be strict, but my child should be able to relate to me. If they can't, then they go outside, and then we feel sad. And if at all you're going to a counselor, do not think that your child is sick. Counseling is not mental illness. It is just a discussion. So we should have these discussions and direct contact. So as parents, every mother needs to interpret the father. Every father needs to interpret the mother. Every parent must interpret the teacher. Every teacher must interpret the parents. Each one of us will be different. Our economics, financial stature will be different. Our community belief will be different. Language will be different. Religion will be different. All social standing will be different. Yet we can always be one, right? Because once we have come down to the school, why can't we all be one? Because we are human beings. Do we respect? I often talk about boy-child education. I always believe we are not sensitizing the boys. The boys must also to be sensitive to the issue, to the global issue. To do with globalization, the whole world has come very, very close to us. But we also need to expand. We need to expand to appreciate and respect other cultures, other traditions, without forgetting our own. To sum up, what is it that we are taking away today? I have spoken to you about what should be a normal issue about parenting. What had happened to us during COVID and the challenges that post-COVID is going to bring. Okay, so the tutorials, all these pressures will remain. Everybody will be wanting that my child scores the most, but let us give it to our child. I want you to put your effort the best, beta. It doesn't matter what you have finally got. Let us give this to our children. You will find your child will excel. Yesterday, my granddaughter was asking me, Dadu, you want me to come out first? I said, maybe if you wish. No, but if I come second, I said, okay. If I come third, it's okay. Then she said, if I fail, I said, that is not okay. But to her mother, she did not use the word fail, because mother will give good, no? The grandfather will not immediately shout. So children have a lot of questions like this. But that frankness, that freedom of conversation is necessary. And I have a very particular issue. I just want to end with this, is about this adolescence parents. That is the reason I had requested that the children need not be present, because there are certain issues. Because if they come to know that this is what you're thinking, then they'll not listen to you. That is the primary reason. What happens is, when children are becoming adult, there will be a lot of physical change plus emotional change. So we need to address it. See, our own thinking, I cannot trust. If let us look at it, I think when each one of us were young, when you were 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all ladies looked at the boys and all boys looked at the girls. It's very normal and healthy and natural. So our children will also look, no? You cannot say, why are you looking? If they answer, I have two eyes, what to do? So they will look. But how to direct that look is very important. I remember one issue, this years back, of course. My daughter was in 8th standard, and we went for the sports, and she was very good athlete. And suddenly I see that 10, 15 girls, it was a girls' school. There's a young boy of another school, 10th standard, with white shorts on, eating an ice cream. And all these 10, 15 girls saw that boy and, jumping. Whoa, you know how the girls do, how you all did when you were of that age. And, we came back home at the dining table. My wife asked, that boy was very handsome. No? You know what my daughter said? Who is that boy? I don't know. She totally pretended not to know. Now, why did she do that? Because she thought, now the parents will shout that you are looking at a boy. But you know what I did? I said, you didn't see? You are so stupid. I wish I was in your place. You know what she answered? Baba, wasn't he handsome? And that was where we cracked. And since then, everything my daughter would tell me and her mother, every little thing, always. That's the connection we have to make, because becoming an adult is a natural corollary, And today our children are reading everything in advertisements. They're surfing net. They're seeing everything. So I have to break my own inhibitions, and I have to talk to them. There's nothing vulgar about it. It all depends the way I talk. I have spoken to you. I did not feel shy because I have not spoken anything vulgar. I spoke education. I spoke values. I spoke of the interest of my children. That's it. So that's what we have to do. And once you do that, let us all understand. Do you know why academic results come down? One of the prime reason is emotional turbulences of the children. Because of this age, and when are they appearing for 10th? Exactly when they're 15 years old. And that's the time this adolescence is at their peak. So they're so disturbed. So we need to ease it out. Talk to them. And it is just one day discussion, that's all. And on and off, they will talk casually, you talk. It's absolute. We are supposed to be friendly, not a friend. I believe in this very strongly. There is something called office of the father, an office of the mother, an office of the teacher. The dignity has to be retained. So let's not become friends, but we can always be friendly and let the channel be open for discussions. Okay? So post-pandemic is going to be more of a challenge for us now, because if we found pandemic was unknown, post-pandemic is also unknown. We do not know what is going to happen, but gradually we will get used to every little thing. We'll be able to take everything in our stride because we have proved it to our own self. I always say, if I'm not beautiful in my own eyes, how can I be beautiful in the eyes of others? So if I am not confident, if I'm not sure that we will make it, how can I? Now imagine all of us think like this and we come together and then we are one. Our children are in absolutely safe hands. So we have to believe in education. We have to believe in educational institutions. We have to believe in people. There are good and bad everywhere. But I think we're adult enough. to make the differentiation as to who is bad and who is good. For that, I don't have to teach you. We all know this. After a particular age, everybody is able to differentiate. And at times we can be cheated, but fine. If I'm cheated now, tomorrow I will not be cheated again. I think all of us have been cheated sometime or the other in our life. All of us have done it. So that's gaining experience, gaining wisdom. And that is where we'll all have to come together, because believe me, every educational institution constantly has training for the teachers, training for their staff, because they are also getting updated with all. It's not because of COVID, it's generally all the time this kind of things are on. Like in the corporate, why do you have trainings? And now specifically after COVID, we are directing everything towards so that we have a smooth sailing. Our children are prepared to face anything that comes, and we are fortunate that all of us, because you such young parents, you all have come out of difficulties, so you all are far more stronger than you were, far more stable than you were, and you are prepared to take on any challenge that can come. So just be with your child. Let us give the feeling to your child, I am there. I believe they also serve who stand and wait. We have to be with our children. That's it. So thank you so much. I will end my talk here because it's almost time. In case there are any questions, either Asha ma'am or somebody may be asking me, I will try and answer. Okay. Thank you so much, Harish sir. Thank you, Shushma sir. Thank you, Asha ma'am. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I think this is the second time I'm getting an opportunity to introduce you. It was like 5 years ago. And as always, it was such a delight to hear from you.
Oh God, I'm so touched, Asha ma'am. I forgot. I'm so sorry. But
I'll never forget you, because you actually said something about a physician, and you were the one after the whole program got over. You came to me and you talked to me.
Now I recollect in Kochi, here in the corner, right?
Yes, sir.
No, I remember.
Mashallah, wow. What a memory. Anyways, let's move on to the question answer session. So first question to you is, as a parent, prioritizing our own well-being benefits our whole family. However, self-care often slips to the bottom of the list during this difficult time. When children are at home and stress is running high, what are the tips that can help?
What are the stress?
What are the tips by which we can overcome it?
First thing is we have to prioritize our own self first. Without that, nothing is going to happen. So each one, the parents will have to first see to it, because like if I am not, as an individual, I am not in a comfortable situation, in a comfort zone. Obviously, I cannot give positive vibes anywhere. That has to happen. There will be slips regularly. I'm a very practical person, you know. We are all slipping all the time. That's perfectly okay with all of us. But then, what are the top priorities of the student now? That the parents will have to say. One is health, and other is studies. These are the two. Now again, because of this, how to divert, take one, I think that I missed out. That is when now that COVID is coming down, so physical activity of the children will have to increase. Okay, in their own society, some games or something. Once the school starts, so that will happen. But even then, but with restrictions. Okay, and therefore, but you know, the discussions, the chatting part of it brings down our stress. Even at time, therefore, if you have noticed in the timetable, I said argument timing also have given. Let it happen. It is okay. We all need to, because when constantly we're together, we have to burst out sometime or the other, right?
Sure. Thank you, sir. The second question is also kind of like the same one, which they have asked. How can I draw clear boundaries between the work time, family time, self-realization?
You can't, because they are all overlapping. It is not possible. I cannot say this 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock is family time, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. It cannot happen like that, except the sleep time. The rest, everything will be intermingled. But if we are focused, we can narrow down on that. That we have to, like, I'll tell you, we tried. I'm not saying me or my daughter or my wife, we have been always successful. We tried to make a TV time for my granddaughter. Okay, and this is the time slot that you can watch TV. Now that the exams are going on, that you finish your exam, now you have to study for 2 hours. And then after that, 1 hour, you cannot watch TV. Then from 4 to 5:30 you can watch TV. 5:30 you can go down to play. So that kind of things we have to do. So, and that will be flexible. That is why I put it under the category of flexibility. It cannot be a die-hard rule that every day, because then monotony is very boring. So that parents will have to decide, giving understanding the child's psyche also, right?
True. Next question. How can we help kids? Sorry, is there any specific age that we should start talking to the children about family?
Yeah, no, you can start talking to the child, even it's 1 year, how that chatting of families, how, you give stories. There are two parts to the family. That is, one, you talk about your own childhood, or the mother's childhood, the father's childhood, the grandparents, and all those. Generally, as you keep on talking, the child imbibes. It naturally happens. That is, like, I think I did it with my daughter from the time, I think she was hardly about 2 months or something, where people think that 2 months old baby does not understand, but they do. Actually, psychology says they do. So I used to keep on talking, and talking in the sense, I used to tell her stories about families or songs that I would sing of that type. And then as they grow older, the children will start asking questions to parents a lot about grandma, grandpa, about aunt and uncle and this and that. And that casually, if you keep on talking, that bonding will keep on happening.
Sure. Next question. How can we help kids with emotional self-regulation during this pandemic when they are stuck at home?
Yes, that's very, very, very beautiful question. It's very, very difficult, but then we parents will have to be emotional. A little hug is necessary. Even parents might have to shed tears also. And it comes naturally. We don't have to put on an act. When the child is upset, I think every mother and every father is also upset. Hold hands and cry. I did it. There have been times, because what happened, I'll share with you. My son-in-law had gone to Calcutta in February, and he got stuck. Now 1 year, my granddaughter has not seen her father. So it has been a tremendous emotional trauma for my granddaughter. So I remember my wife, me and my daughter and my granddaughter, we all hugged each other. So now she's got far more used to. Then we started having more of video chats with her father 3 times a day and all that. And how daughters are more attached to the father. So all those kind of things were happening. So that we have to give in completely. And also show the brave front, interpret the other things. One beautiful thing happened with children is, all these things are short-lived, momentary. For some time they will feel very upset, next moment they will go to something else and again come back. So we need to take advantage of that, divert them a little.
So I think the questions are over. So it's time to wind up. So let me invite Dr. Chitra Joshi, the principal, Eminence Private School, for delivering the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, Asha. And good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. It's been a pleasure listening to you. And I just kept listening. That's what I would like to first express. And it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the occasion of such an enlightening event, sir. I am indebted to Dr. Guha, the founder, chairman, Nityanjali Group, for taking the time out from his busy schedule to share with us some most valuable lessons for life, especially at this time of pandemic. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. K. Harish, CEO, Eminence Private School, for sharing his thoughts in today's session, and Mr. Girish Dalvi for joining us. On behalf of the entire fraternity of Eminence, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the students, parents, and teachers for their attendance, and believe that today we all have valuable takeaways and suggestions from Dr. Guha. An event of this dimension can't happen overnight and needs meticulous planning, execution, and an eye for detail. I thank each and every member of the team for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to be a part of this wonderful event. Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Guha.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It has been a
Thank you
sheer
very
joy.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much. We thank all of you for being with us this afternoon. It's been a
Thank
great
you.
pleasure. Have a great weekend all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chitra.
Thank you.
So much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for the valuable program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for this valuable
Thank you.
session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.